when you tell one lie, you got to remember the 100 lies that you told to cover that lie up.
That wasn't no lie.
Be quiet and don't talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another one of my streams today. This is a special one. Today, I usually don't stream at this time, so welcome everyone who's just joined. So today we're going to be talking about court. What happens, what's going to happen, or what could happen if when Noodle Mash takes the respondent to court. Okay, I've been watching your comments in chat and your opinions, and I decided, okay, let's do a stream to bust the myths and expectations that people are going to have when this does go to court. Right, everyone? So it's when, I'm just going to say this real quick. When Noodle took the respondent to court in November, I wasn't jumping up and down and celebrating. It was something that had to be done. I really realize that now because she wasn't stopping. She wasn't going to sit there and stop. She was making threats. So she actually got a permanent anti-stalking order. And the respondent thinks that she could think whatever she wants. It was done viciously, or it was unfair to her, or whatever the train of thought on her end may be. But the fact is that there is a permanent anti-stalking order against the respondent in here. But she has demonstrated since November she acts like there is no order in place. Screw the order. And now we're back here. Now we're back to square one. Hey, Kelly. Now we're back to square one. And here we go again with round two. Now, if anyone's listening, I pinned the chat to Noodle Mash's fundraiser, and it's going to stay up. So if anyone would like to donate, please donate to Noodle Mash for her lawyer fund. It's pinned in the chat, everybody. So she has raised quite a bit of money so far. She has raised $1,300. And I'd like to thank everyone who has donated. To it, because In my opinion, Noodle didn't ask for it. Ask for this. All she wanted was for the respondent to leave her alone. Okay, everybody? But she refuses to leave people alone. And she got a call, this is according to her, from her local police and her lawyer saying she has to go back to court. So that's why, be good. I want to thank her for doing a fundraiser on Noodle Mash's behalf. Hey, Tracy. So, well, Kelly, some of the things that she's been saying, I want to get into that. And in my opinion, it's not harmless. You cannot come on this platform and break a court order if you agree with it or not, and violate other crimes or break crimes while you're doing it. So, okay. So let's get started with this. So, what Noodle's lawyer is going to have to do, this is civil court, everyone. Everyone thinks that this is a criminal court judge or a criminal court. That's not true, everybody. The judge who, hey, Cotton Candy, welcome. Everyone thinks that when Noodle goes before a judge, and the last time it's a criminal court. No, that's not what it is at all. When you go for a restraining order, an anti-stalking order, in some states it's called something else. There's other orders. Hello, Lilith. Welcome. You go before a civil judge. You go in civil court. And what you're doing in this court is you're suing somebody, practically. You're not suing the person for money. You're what's the word I'd call this? You're suing for action. Does that make sense to anybody? You can come, you can go to a court, a civil court, and have a dispute with someone without asking for monetary gain in this country. Hello, Tracy Trace. So the first time, so she went before a civil judge to get an anti-stalking order. And that hearing turned into a shit show. So, and people think, some people, I'm not saying everybody, because we got some smart people here. Some people think that the civil judge has all this power. That's not true, everybody. When you go to civil court, Their power is limited. They can issue an order, such as a restraining order or anti-stalking order. They can and such, or they can do things like that. But they cannot say off to jail you go. They don't have that power. Civil judges don't have that power. Everybody. So, what Noodle's going to have to do is go back before that same court. There's no guarantee that she's going to get the same judge. All right, everybody? It's usually the judge that the clerk of the court is the judge who's available, the civil judge that's available on the docket at that time when it's filed. And what it basically is a motion before the court saying that the respondent violated the court order and that they want relief from the court. So, what does that mean, everybody? So, what's going to happen when Noodle Mash goes to court? Okay? It works like a probation violation hearing in a way, but it's not a probation violation. It works the same way in some instances. So the first thing that's going to happen is she'll go to court. Both parties will be there. Hello, Mama Bear. Welcome. So what's going to happen is it will start with a fact finding. Exercise. So the burden is going to be on Noodle to prove that the respondent violated this order. Okay? And the other myth that's going around, all right, everybody, is this whole thing is up to Noodle. No, it's not, everybody. Noodle has very little say in what happens during this hearing. So that's the myth and rumor going around. She's not the judge. She's not a jury. She's not the judge. She's not the jury. And she's not the executioner. All she is a aggrieved party in a dispute with the court. It's up to the judge, everybody. So Noodle and her attorney have to prove that the respondent violated the court order. It's the burden. And the burden of proof in civil court, everybody, is lower than it is in criminal court. So I'm going to tell everybody what the burden in civil court is compared to criminal court. The burden in civil court is by preponderance of the evidence. To translate that to everybody, that means they most likely did it. But in this case, this is just my opinion on reviewing the evidence here and all the nastiness. She could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt or beyond all doubt because we all seen the threats, the harassment, the stalking. Correct, everybody? So Noodle Mash is going to have no problems proving to the judge that, hey, the respondent violated the order. Not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, but too many for me to even count. You probably only need 1 or 2 violations of the order, and they're intentional, for the judge to rule the respondent violated the order. Okay, everybody? Does everyone understand that? So probation violations work the same way. So when you have a probation violation hearing, the judge is looking, did this person violate their probation or parole? And if the answer is yes, then they move on to part 2. Now, because this is a civil court, not a criminal court, everybody. This is a civil courtroom. The judge's options aren't as the judge's hands are tied sometimes or what the judge can do here. Okay, here's one. The judge can issue another order. That's one thing that can happen. The judge can make the order more restrictive. The judge can fine her. The judge can, there are a number of things that the judge can do. The judge can find her in contempt of court for violating that order in the first place. But not all violations of these orders are created equal. Okay? There are situations when these orders are issued, I read this online, that someone just, hey, pedal pusher. So some people come on here. So some people go that violate these orders. They just call up the respondent calls up the plaintiff up and doesn't threaten them, right? That's a violation, everybody. These orders say no contact through any means, third party or so that violation is not equal to, or several violations of an order are not equal to what we're seeing here. We're seeing an extreme case with the violations. And they went into criminal territory, everybody. So since this went into criminal territory, I'm going to read out some of the charges that could be levied against the respondent. This often happens with these orders, not always, when these orders are broken. Harassment charge, stalking charge, menacing, reckless endangerment of another person. And these are Class A misdemeanors in Oregon, which means the maximum sentence you can get is 1 year. Everybody. So since this hearing will take place in a civil courtroom, the only thing the judge can do about that aspect is issue individual warrants for probable cause, okay, and refer those counts, those violations of the law, to criminal court. The only thing that the civil judge can do here is hold her in contempt of court and Noodle mentioned this before, everybody. Violating one of these anti-stalking orders is a crime in itself. And that's why it would be under stalking. It's under the Oregon stalking statute. You can check it out. And one of them, you scroll towards the bottom, and it says violating an anti-stalking order is considered stalking under Oregon law. And that's a Class A misdemeanor. A harassment charge is a Class B misdemeanor, which means under Oregon law, the maximum sentence you can receive is 6 months. A menacing charge. What is menacing, everybody? Menacing is making threats of physical harm to somebody. Some states have it listed as communicating threats, menacing, or another. Some states have menacing in the first degree, second degree. One is with a weapon and one's without a weapon, making threats without a weapon. It depends on your state's laws. But normally, here, we're talking about in general. So if you sit there and you threaten to hurt somebody on this platform, you're committing a crime. It's just plain, it's just in black and white like that. And since she's breaking the order, That's a stalking charge on top of that. And then it's harassment. And each time she does it, it's another count. So each count, I'm not sure on this. You're going to have to ask a lawyer on this. But each count, each time you do something, it's like a separate charge. It's like you did it. It's okay. Let me just explain it this way. If you rob a bank once, right, then you do it again, right? And then again, and then you get caught, you're going to get charged with 3 counts of armed robbery. And each time you did it, you face the maximum charge. You face the maximum sentence. You can get the maximum sentence in jail. So these charges can rack up on the respondent each time she's proven to do this. She doesn't realize it. And how many times have we told her to stop it on this platform? Stop harassing Noodle Mash. We don't think it's funny. We don't think it's right. Noodle Mash has committed no crimes, broken no crimes on here. She has every right to talk about the abuse than anyone else on here. But she just sits there and people these days, it's like they don't and then she made a video saying, I don't believe that there's an investigation. I don't believe that I'll be taken to court. Okay. So what happened last time? Let's go back to November, everybody. Let's take a trip down memory lane. So what happened in November? She says, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Then she got served. And then she shut up till the hearing. So in reality, she can control it. She can control her temper or her mouth, keep her mouth shut, but she just doesn't want to. So here we go again. She's saying, I want proof that there's an investigation. She wants proof that she's going to court. Okay. You'll get proof when you get served. I remember she says that she used, what was the words? She used her cease and desist order as toilet paper or something like that. So, okay. So those are the charges, the most common charges that can be referred by a civil judge via warrant or order. So what would happen? What could happen if that happened? Let's go there, everybody. So suppose the sanction was not a fine. Correct? She was held in contempt of court. And then these charges were levied against her, the respondent. So what would happen was that one of two things will happen. She'll either be taken to another courtroom, which would be district court. Hey, I'm Zen. She will be taken to another courtroom. It will probably be district court or magistrate's court. She will be read her charges. And then, because these are not major felonies, she will get bail. I'm sorry to inform everyone of this, but this is the way the justice system works. She will get an amount of bail. Could be anywhere from $20 to $5,000, $10,000. It depends on the severity of the crime, to flight risk, to the respondents. There's lots of criminal history. So she'll probably get, if this happened, it would be a few $1,000s. So what would her bail options be? This is what we all know that she isn't going to be able to raise this money, several thousand for bail. Right, everybody? So that option is pretty much up. El Stinko, up in the water. But you never know with some of these crazy nuts on here. But then there's the bail bondsman. I'm going to tell everyone how that works. And the catch to that. So what you do is you call a bail bondsman and you put 10 to maybe sometimes 15% of the bail down. So it wouldn't cost a whole lot of money, maybe $100 or something dollars or $200 or something like that. But here's the thing. They have to come up with something worth that, the bail amount up in collateral. Now you have to ask yourself this, everyone. Does the respondent have anything worth several $1,000s in her home? She owns no car. She doesn't own her house. She doesn't own a house. True. So she would have to, and then she would need a cosigner, someone who would be responsible for the bail amount if she jumped. So there's this whole catch to the bail bondsman thing. And this is why some people just sit there. Hey, Patty, welcome. This is why some defendants sit in jail, because they can't come up with a cosigner. They don't have anything worth the bail money to put up for collateral. So they just sit there in jail until they go up for trial. It's just the way the system works. But then she has that little trust fund. I don't know. That's just maybe. But hey, you never know. She said it's under her sister's name. We don't really know much about that. So I'll just leave it to everyone's imaginations with that one. So she'll go before a judge, a district court or magistrate's court judge. Or here's the second possibility here. which is often the case in much of the country. She'll be taken to county jail, and she'll see a judge there. Some of these county jails have a magistrate or judge or a district court judge that on rotation there that will give where they have to sit at the window. Everyone, they have to sit at the window. This is one of the first things you do when you walk in. Is they put you in a cell, and you got to wait for the judge, or you sit in a chair, or something, and then you wait for the judge, and they give you your bail and your bail conditions, and then if you don't make it in a few days, then you get your first appearance in district court. Since these are misdemeanors and they're all going down the list or whatever, all the counts, it'll probably be, most likely it'll be disposed of in district court, not in superior court, criminal superior court. I don't know how things work in Oregon, but that's how it goes in most of the country. The lower court, okay, there's magistrate's court usually, and that's bail and warrants. Initial bail and warrants. And then there's district court, which deals with misdemeanors. Okay, you go shoplifting. You know, like petty cases. They deal with that, and then if it's felonies. Then when you get charged with felonies, then you go to superior court. Then it gets superior court a lot of the time is trial court. Well, Mustang Sally, I'm gonna tell you this. With the criminal justice system, you never know. I'm going to tell you why. Because you never know what could happen. For the same reason, you say your brother was never held accountable. But some of these people are held accountable for their actions. It's just a luck of the draw with the cards in the courtroom. It's like a poker hand. It's like a game of poker sometimes. It's like a game of poker. Is your hand good? Did someone get a bad hand? And they're screwed? Right? But here, I'm just gonna. Oh, absolutely. We're gonna get into that next, Mustang Sally. We're gonna get into that. I'm just getting into general possibilities. But you have a point. Anything can happen in these hearings. Anything can happen if it goes to criminal court. Anything can happen. There's no guarantee, everyone, that when Noodle presents her case before a civil judge, that the right sanctions will be imposed. Hey, Wyoming, there's no guarantee that she'll get held accountable in a criminal courtroom if it got that far. I'm just trying to tell everyone and be honest and tell it how it is. I'm just trying to say, tell everyone the myth. You think you have your cards, but sometimes and since you and the order is a trump card, this is just my opinion on the issue. She violated the order, Mustang Sally. So that's a stalking charge right there under Oregon law. I looked it up. So if anyone doesn't believe me, put in stalking in Oregon and read the description. And you'll see that one of the thing is violating an anti-stalking order. And if it's your second offense in Oregon, it becomes a Class C felony. So this is her first offense. Okay, Mustang Sally. Here's the thing. When Noodle takes the respondent to court, it's going to be in a civil courtroom. The civil judge has some things that the judge can do, but they cannot jail her. Do you get that now? The only power a civil judge has in the court is the power of contempt of court. So, okay, there's two types of contempt of court, everybody. There's indirect contempt and there's direct contempt of court. A civil judge has authority over both. So what is direct contempt of court? Direct contempt of court is when you misbehave during a court proceeding. Okay, let me give you an example of direct contempt of court. All right. The respondent gets up and starts screaming at people when the judge tells the person to sit down, and they keep going at it. That would be direct contempt of court, everybody, because it happened in the courtroom. Indirect contempt of court is when you violate a court order, an order issued by the court, and it didn't happen inside the courtroom. So when you get indirect contempt, you get a hearing and you get bail attached to it. You're welcome, Wyoming. I'm trying to explain everything. So when if there is an undesirable effect or decision, that people are not surprised. Okay? There's no guarantees of anything. But yes, Patty, the judge will come up with something if the defendant doesn't obey. So let's get to the mental health conversation, shall we? So one of the common misconceptions or rumors on this platform is, oh, the judge in the first hearing made a mistake by not, it was that her mental state, the respondent's mental state. Right, everybody? Remember that? The only thing the judge should be has to be concerned with is the respondent's competence. Hey, Charlie Ann. It doesn't matter in a civil courtroom. Usually, if you're in a civil courtroom, you're not going to be jailed. So, unless you disobey the order, and then that goes, and then that becomes indirect contempt, harassment, stalking, menacing, reckless endangerment of another person, everything that the respondent has done on here. So those are some sanctions that can happen during civil hearing, but the civil court cannot hear those other issues. They have to be referred to a criminal courtroom because they're criminal offenses. That's all the civil judge can do is refer it to a criminal court. Hello, Witchy. The only power a civil judge has is the power of contempt of court and to issue orders. It's like, okay, civil court is where you go. You could sue someone. You could sue someone in this country for non-compliance of the law. And you're not suing anyone for money. I'm doing good, Nicole. So we're going to get to the mental health part of this conversation because there's a misconception that she'll get away with it because she's has mental disabilities. So what a civil court examines is, can she understand what's happening, where she is? I'm sure the judge during the first hearing asked her these questions. She understood. So the hearing went on, everybody. She knew exactly what was going on. She knew she was in a courtroom. We're not claiming she's the smartest bulb in the shed, everybody. Because if someone was saying she's the smartest bulb in the shed, they should get their heads examined. But that's the civil court's responsibility is more competence. So if these violations of the law, were referred to criminal court, now there's a different burden. It's, did she know what she did was wrong? Did she know the difference between right and wrong? The answer is yes, everybody. She does know the difference. Because it's more of a double standard with her. Is what about my feelings? What about me? So she knows that bullying and harassing is wrong as long as you don't do it to me, and that doesn't count. Even if she's a little delusional on the facts, that wouldn't pass under that prong of the law. Yeah, she knows the difference between right and wrong. Absolutely, Patty. Very smart and very manipulative on certain things, but on other things, she's not that smart. And then the other prong is she knows exactly what she's doing when she's doing this stuff. She knows she's insulting you, right? She knows she's insulting people. She's angry. So that prong doesn't work either, everyone. And there's a third prong, which is very complicated. You're going to have to ask a licensed attorney on this. It's appreciating the consequences of your actions, which is sort of like you didn't know there was consequences to your actions. She knows there's consequences to her actions. She just doesn't care. She thinks she can get away with it because she has all these mental disabilities, and she thinks she's going to get a jail free card. That's just my opinion on that one. So she isn't hella money. So she's just going to get. So she's going to be declared legally sane under the law. It doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with her, everybody. We can all agree there's something mentally wrong with the respondent. But under the law, she's legally sane. She's responsible for her actions. So that wouldn't work. But a court may, or a judge may order a psych exam to see if she's competent to stand trial, if she's legally sane. It's sometimes part of the legal process, everybody. But here's the kicker. Sometimes mental health defenses are called diminished capacity defenses, which means she's responsible for her actions, but it's okay. Let me explain it another way. Someone commits a crime and they're intoxicated. Okay. They can argue that they couldn't premeditate a crime because they were intoxicated. Perhaps it's a stretch some of these defense attorneys make. Right? That they could say, oh, she was mentally impaired. She couldn't premeditate her comments or something. It's an argument for a jury or a judge during a bench trial. It doesn't mean that it's going to fly. You know, everyone gets a defense in court, if you like it or not. So for people just joining us in the last few minutes, I have a link up pinned to the top. So if anyone wants to donate to Noodle Mash, please do so. Yeah, and that's reckless endangerment of another person, Patty, under Oregon law, and that's a stretch, and that's a stretch under Oregon law for what was going on. She can cry. She can cry. I got feces in the mail, and it's all Samantha Bree's fault, or it's all Noodle's fault as her defense. I don't know. But that won't fly either because there's no proof that either one of them did anything. It's probably one of those trolls over there. We have a few names. Hold on. Something popped up on my screen. Okay. Because it's already proven she's mentally capable to understand everything that's going on. True, but sometimes they want an updated eval, the courts, because things change with people's mental states. Being depressed because you're in jail doesn't really count either. I was watching the Jodi Arias trial with that expert witness for the state, and she really oh yeah, Patty, I remember that she goes terminal. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Because we all know the respondent, right? Everybody, she goes off on a whim and everything, and now she's crying. Everybody, get a load of this. I have no money for an attorney. Everyone remember that? She got something like $61 or something. Some idiot donated. Everyone remember that? We're going to do a debunking right now on that claim. That she couldn't afford an attorney, no one would represent her. Wah, wah, wah. So I was going to call. I was going to make a phone call. But before I did, I said, let me go to their website first and take a look around, right? So I found the website, everybody. It wasn't that hard. It didn't take me that long to find it. So when Natasha Cooper decided to go represent her pro se or whatever, she really did a disservice and turned the first hearing into a shit show, making it all about Natasha. Okay? Because she had no money for an attorney and no one would donate to her and everything else, right? Well, we all know that the respondent probably gets food stamps, Medicaid, gets your disability check every month, right, everybody? So I'm going to put this up on the screen. Let me just pull it up. Hold on. Damn, wrong site. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's the right one. Let me put it up in a second. Yeah, and the judge even said that, Monique, during the hearing, from what I recall hearing, that she had enough time to get an attorney to represent her. So we're gonna debunk the respondent's claims that she can't get an attorney or no one would represent her, or we have to donate all this money to her. So I'm going to debunk this real quick for everybody. And there's an office not far from the respondent. So she could take her scooter or the bus down there or call them up on the phone and apply for service. So I'm going to explain this real quick. Okay. Everyone see this? Legal Aid Services of Oregon. Who are these people? Legal Aid Services of Oregon is an effective, high quality legal services program with a mission to achieve justice for low income communities in Oregon. Legal Aid Services of Oregon helps clients in poverty with a wide variety of legal problems. Really? Everybody. So let's click on what we do here, okay? Okay. So Legal Aid Services of Oregon provides civil legal help to low income Oregonians through regional offices and specialized statewide hotlines and programs. We do not charge our clients for these legal services. Okay. So if the respondent called these people, she wouldn't have a bill, she wouldn't have a payment plan. She'd probably meet the criteria. Absolutely, Patty. Really, what she Nicole? She said legal aid would not help her. I'm going to call that as bullshit. I think what it is she wants the moolah coming in. So she thinks she could put up what is it? A fundraiser. I'll help get me an attorney against Porky the Pig or whatever you want to call whatever slanderous name you want to call her. Whatever name that she decided to call Noodle that day. You can all see this as a grift, everybody. When you can call Legal Aid Services of Oregon, perhaps Noodle doesn't qualify for this program because she said that she lost her disability check because her husband makes a little too much money. So perhaps this is why we have to put up a fundraiser for her. So I'm just debunking, and Legal Aid Services is civil, everybody. It's different from the public defender's office. Yup, Patty. I get it. I totally get it because you see this website provides civil help to low-income people in Oregon. And she lies and sits there and says that they won't help her. You know, she just sitting there crying without a tear with Walter in the background, dropping her Cash App and PayPal. That's all they're doing, everyone. It's part of the rinse and repeat pattern. They have something like that here too, Wyoming. So I think it's called something different, but yeah, you get taken to civil court. You get a summons. You call these people up, and at least you get representation. I'm not saying it's going to be the best lawyer in the world, but at least you're saying, okay, this is what's going on here. I'd advise you to shut the fuck up. You're not helping yourself. But I think she maybe she did talk to them and they says you're in the wrong here, and she didn't want to hear that. She wants to hear she's in the right. And will ignore anything and everyone, including the judge who says she's in the wrong. We all seen the pattern. And then she cries and says, "Oh, I have no lawyer. Oh, here's Natasha Cooper at the hearing." And a person who sits there and makes it all about her and her channels, excuse me, you're supposed to be advocating for your so-called client. You're not supposed to be advertising your channels, Natasha. You're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be trying to help somebody. You're supposed to be trying to but yeah, we all know what happened, right, everybody? So she's fully competent to stand trial. She's fully she's not insane under the law. And she can get representation, as I just showed here. She's not going to get the sometimes it's just like the public defender's office. You know, you get who you get. And yeah, in my opinion, Monique, she came on here, her and Walter came on this platform to for the money. They have no use for people. And what it is, it's like act as outrageous as possible. Go below the belt with the insults. Be open with her mental conditions. Use it as a shield. And then when people come on and defend themselves or respond to all the insult, all the craziness, then she has one of these streams of her crying. And then you'll see Walter in the background, right? Everyone's seen it, dropping her PayPal and Cash App in chat. Please donate to please donate. Make us feel better. It's like a horrible manipulation of the whole situation. And then when she does have so-called friend, she just uses them. Because Robbie even said, well, she used to get mad because I wouldn't drop everything and go defend her. Or he wouldn't share her Cash App and PayPal enough times. So then she'd get mad and have a fit. So that tells me something. That tells me a lot. I have no sympathy for Walt. He's part of the problem. The only thing I ever heard him say on this platform is, I wish you never do that. And that's with her taking her clothes off. Her being in her underwear, her panties and bra. That's the only time I've heard him speak up. Everybody. I may be wrong on that, but hey, the facts are the facts, everybody. So I just put this up to show that she can get legal representation. She gets her disability check, right? She gets her food stamps. And if legal aid can't help her for some reason, they'll give her a number of someone who can. Am I right on that, everybody? These people know who, if they don't do these type of cases, these civil cases in court or lawsuits, or these tort cases in court, they will at least give someone who comes in the phone number of someone who can help them that are low income. You see their mission here? Provide civil legal help to low-income people in Oregon. So if they don't do that type of thing, right, with defending people in civil court, they got served with the summons for a hearing, then they'll provide that person with a number of people that will do it. You know, Richie, she actually admitted that on a video that she called the Lincoln City Police or something, and they hung up on her, and she responds, "Don't you dare hang up on me." So I can see that happening with these people. They're not going to put up with abuse. Yup. I agree with you, Patty. Or maybe they told her that she's in, or maybe she did go in. This is just a theory of mine, and said, and they told her she's wrong. Let's try to work this out. And she wouldn't have that. Hell no. She wants to be told she's in the right. Which we all know she's not. So we see legal aid services. If she does get if she does go to criminal court, she will get a public defender assigned to her at no charge. So what's the if she likes the attorney or not? You know, it's like, oh, absolutely, Mustang Sally. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of that too, Monique. I'm sure of that. So let's cover the last part here. Suppose she, okay. So what will happen in court if she does? This is if it gets this far, and if she's charged, and if the case is transferred to criminal court. What will happen is she'll go before the judge, and they will set a bail amount. If she makes bail or not, that's up in the air, everybody. I said that before. And she can sit there and fight this. Right? That's her right under the Constitution. She has the right to a fair trial, everybody. The state has the burden of proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense's role is not to get her off, as people like to think these days. The defense's role is to hold the prosecutor to the burden of proof. And to test the evidence. It's just the way it is. But here's the thing. What they do, okay, I'm going to suppose she gets convicted by jury, or she chooses a bench trial. Okay? Hypothetically speaking, then the judge Then it's the judge's turn to do sentencing. Now, she can get anywhere from probation to the maximum sentence. Everybody. She can just get a slap on the wrist, don't do it again. The prosecutor can cut a plea bargain with her, saying if you plead guilty to this and this, we'll drop this and this charge with conditions to it, which often happens in these first offense cases, everybody. But with the respondent here, it's so unpredictable. And anything can happen with the jury. Take a look at Casey Anthony. We thought there was a case against her, and the jury just... You had 12 village idiots evaluating a case. Go figure. She could take a plea deal too. You know, it's up to her at this point. She can take a plea deal. She can go to trial. It's all in her court at that point. Maybe at this point, it's up to her how much time she gets. I agree with you, Patty. She'll be back at second offense with a Class C felony in no time. So if she does it a second time, Patty, after this, and she gets charged with stalking again, it becomes a Class C felony. Hey, Janny. It becomes a Class C felony, everybody, for the second offense. If anyone didn't know that one. It's in the Oregon statute. So the first time it happens, the first time the order is violated, it's a misdemeanor, Class A, up to 1 year in jail. The minimum's probably probation, depending on the circumstances. The second time it's violated, it's a Class C felony. And it's up to 5 years, 3 to 5, or something like that. She's not that stupid, Patty. She's not the brightest one in the room, but she at least knows there's consequences to her actions. I can tell you that right now. Absolutely, Wyoming. She does have deep anger problems. She never learned to get out of the room, count to 10, take a time out. I'm angry. I've done that on here. One time I punched the bed and I had to walk out because I was getting aggravated. I wanted to push the live button and start yelling and screaming like her. Yeah, she was never taught social skills, everybody. So that's my opinion too. So she was never taught social skills. She was never taught how to interact with people. They probably had arts and crafts in school, so at least she picked up that. So then, okay, we're going to get to sentencing, everybody. So if she gets convicted, chances are she will, or she pleads guilty, or she takes a plea deal. If she takes a plea deal, she's bound by the terms of the plea agreement. Along with, okay, hey, only a paw, So I'm going to get to sentencing by judge first, and then I'm going to go by plea agreement. So judges usually, okay, two types of reports go to the court, everybody. A pre-sentencing report is generated, and it's a report created by the probation department. So probation department will call up her family, will interview her, any friends she might have, victims. So most of her victims here are on this platform, everybody. Right? So don't be surprised if this makes it to criminal court and she gets convicted or she pleads guilty, that some of us may be contacted by county probation in Oregon, a county in Oregon's probation department, because they want to interview her. They want to interview us to make a recommendation to the court on what her sentence should be. Then another report is generated, everybody. The state, the prosecutors make recommendations. Do they want to see jail time? Do they want to see another type of sentence, such as probation? Will they recommend probation to the judge? But the judge isn't bound at this point by a prosecution recommendation, everybody. And then it goes by factors such as aggravating circumstances and mitigating circumstances. So since she doesn't have a criminal record, everybody, she's not going to probably do the maximum available. I'm just being, for her to take the plea of probation, she has to plead guilty and sign the papers. Now, I'm going to get to plea bargains, everybody. So in many states, I'm not saying Oregon, I never checked this out for Oregon. I know New York is one of the states. But in order to take a plea bargain, you have to plead guilty. In many states, you have to do an allocution. Everybody. Does everyone know what an allocution is? An allocution is telling the court what you did, why you did it, an act of remorse, perhaps. You're admitting guilt. That's what an allocution is. Yeah, some states you have to admit you're guilty to take a plea bargain. Some states you have to admit there's a reasonable basis for, in fact, that the state has enough to convict you. There's two burdens, and different states have different rules on plea bargains. So in California, you need a factual basis. So the state would have to have, you have to admit that the state has a factual basis for a conviction. In New York, it doesn't work that way. In New York, you got to admit guilt and do a formal allocution to the court. So As Patty just said, she's done so many apology tours, so she got it rehearsed. Absolutely, Patty. 100%. She's done so many apology tours these days, she got it down to a T. We are talking about noodle mash versus you know who. We're trying to say what could happen, what cannot happen, what probably won't happen. I'm trying to bust the myths here. The respondent is who they say in chat, Janny. I'm not saying her name. Today I'm not in the mood. Yeah, she's done so many apology tours. She's got it rehearsed by now. So it shouldn't be a problem for her to take a plea. So when you take a plea bargain, if it's by what you call factual basis or by you got to admit guilt, then the prosecution can make an offer, the defense can counter offer, and they work it out behind the scenes. So they can agree on it. They can agree on a sentence, they can agree. There's something called an Alfred plea, Alfred, or it's called a no contest plea, which is an option, which would eliminate that. Because an Alfred plea is what it is. It's basically no contest. But you're saying to the court, is in my best interest to plead guilty. That's what an Alfred plea is. No, Patty, you don't got that right. You admit nothing. That's what an Alfred plea is. You're admitting nothing. But it's in my best interest. Or there's enough to convict or something like that. That's how it was explained to me years ago. That's what an Alfred plea is. That's okay, Janny. It's okay. True. But it means you're not admitting nothing. You're not admitting guilt. You're not admitting innocence. It's in your best interests to plead guilty or to plead. It's almost the same as a no contest plea. But Navigator's right. You recognize there's enough evidence to convict. That's the difference between the Alfred plea and a no contest plea. Hey, Navigator. Yeah, I'm familiar with Alfred pleas because I had to take one time. So my one incident, I took it because with me, I took responsibility for my actions. Everybody. My lawyer and said, hey, here's the plea offer from the prosecutor. You enter an Alfred plea, right? and you get out today. So that's how it worked with me, everyone. I've been through booking. I went upstairs. So I know at least something about how it works. Hey, Rachel. I've been in court. It wasn't a fun experience, everybody. It was over 10 years ago. I'm on here continuing to break crimes. Yeah, I admit I did something wrong. Right, everybody? Not everyone's perfect, but when you see people on here continuing to do the same things over and over again and not care, have no empathy for anyone else, that's when you have an issue. I'm sure, because I've seen people on here, they have passed with being an addict. Not everyone has the best childhood. Yeah, exactly, only a paw. We learn something from it. But some people don't. This is the thing. This is what I'm trying to say on here. But if you're somebody that comes on here and you don't learn a damn thing, yeah, and I even had to make a community post on her saying, excuse me, what about your feelings? What about everyone else's feelings? They're human beings too. And you sit here and you go way below the belt. And that takes some thought, everyone. That's more premeditated. You have to sit there, right? You have to think of what can actually trigger somebody. And then you have to go on a live stream or upload a video or make a nasty community post. And then you have to say it. That takes some thought, doesn't it? That's a little premeditated and a little thought put into it. When they knock someone for their religion, knock someone for their sexuality, knock someone for something else they can't help, their appearance. It's really so when the sentencing goes on with the judge, and then the judge makes a decision based on all the mitigating factors, aggravating, if it's by judge, the pre-sentencing report, the recommendation from the state. And then she gets a sentence, her lack of criminal history or her behavior in court. Everything is considered, everybody. So I did this. I actually thought of doing this education because people got the idea. Yeah, Patty, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing. People thought, okay, it's court time again. Noodle's going to be found to be right, which I think she is going to be. Oh, yeah, Patty, I saw that. And They think that she's going to be hauled off to jail and in one hearing. That's the myth, everybody. This isn't going to be over within one court hearing, everybody. Do you get it, everyone? If she's found to be in violation of that court order, there's probably going to be several hearings after that. There could be a contempt of court hearing for indirect contempt. I covered that earlier. Then the civil judge can make her order more strict. She can't extend the order because the order is permanent. So that's not an option, everybody. So there's only a few options that the civil judge can do. The only thing the civil judge can do with the other acts is refer it to a criminal court for prosecution. So then she'll be, as I said before, be dragged to a court. It goes to the district attorney's office, and it goes from there. It goes through the process. And the process lately has been extremely slow, everybody. I've seen people out on bail, allegedly for 9, 10, 11, over a year before they got their first hearing. Based on this case, based on their charges. And this creep on here had a felony charge. And her bail was $26,000. So there's that for thought. So there's that for thought. You know, it's not going to be over in one hearing, everybody. But Noodle needs help because she can't do this alone, everybody. She needs yeah, you're right. In her so-called Google feet, her so-called feet and her injuries are actually taken from Google, everybody. I saw that video last night and I wasn't even surprised one bit. So that's another truth bomb I'm going to give to Patty because is that one of the channels that just popped up, Wyoming? You could pay £1 per week for court. Oh, I don't know anything about the UK, only a paw. All I know is I'm ignorant. Okay, let me put it this way. Only a paw. I'm ignorant to UK and Australia law because I don't live there. I'm being honest. I'm totally ignorant. I don't even know how your court system works, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna explain how everything works, and and Noodles said she's gonna be in it for the long haul. So please donate to Noodles fundraiser if you have. I want to thank everybody again for it. something has to be done about this situation. It's probably going to take some time for everything to work through, but it's not going to be an overnight thing, everybody. All right. This isn't going to be an overnight thing. It doesn't happen. It doesn't all get. It's not like a TV show where they group clips up like Law and Order and everything's done in an hour. Well, if you really watch Law and Order, it's like they clip everything in an hour, but it's like everything's done within a few months, and it's like it gives a false impression of what the legal system is like. Like maybe a police investigation would is like maybe a week or two on Law and Order, and they crunch it up in maybe 20 minutes. And then they have the court, which maybe is like 4 or 5 months worth, and they crunch that into the rest of it. Mustang Sally, Oregon, fortunately for us, is a more strict state when it comes to anti-stalking orders. So we're in luck, but since this is maybe a first offense, I don't know. Anything can happen because child molesters get probation, for fuck's sakes. That's the sad part about the criminal justice system. Some of these violent offenders get probation when they don't even deserve it. Yeah, one person for murder in Texas got probation for murder by a jury. I couldn't believe it when I heard that one, but it's actually true. It happened. So when you say it can't, oh, this can't happen, don't keep your hopes so high. There will be some type of consequence for the respondent here. There's going to be consequences. But what the courts decide to do about it this time around. Okay, everybody? But even if she is placed, hypothetically speaking, of course, even if she is placed on probation, that is a deterrent, because if she starts putting up her videos again, doing the same shit, right, everybody? That's a violation of probation, everybody, and a violation of the stalking order. And the probation department can enforce that. So that's another thing to consider too. She can get supervised through this whole thing. So I just wanted to come on and say that I don't either, Mustang Sally. That's the one thing I don't understand. I thought you could call law enforcement, show them the order, and say it was broken, and they can just go over to her house and arrest her. That's what I thought too. But apparently there's more to it than that. There must be some case law that I don't know about in Oregon that says that they have to go back to court. I don't understand it either. So, but I'm just saying how the hearing's going to go. It's going to be The judge is going to do it like the last time. It's going to be fact finding. They're going to see if she violated the order, and then go from there. Since she violated other, she broke crimes on like several different offenses, she'll probably be charged with those. It's not, Mustang Sally. It's not worthless to have an order. There's some type of technicality or something. Maybe it's the difference. Maybe the difference, Mustang Sally, is between the orders. A restraining order is completely different than an anti-stalking order, for example. You get what I'm saying? If you had a restraining order and they actually came over, you can call the police and they probably have them removed. I'm going to answer that. This is just real quick. She puts her videos up for an hour, a couple hours, and then she deletes them. So sometimes the reports don't go through fast enough. I'm just being pragmatic here. But that civil judge can even issue an order banning her from social media. Everyone. That's another sanction that can come from the court. But that's not the first thing that a judge orders. Because there's a First Amendment issue with that. You get what I'm saying? They don't like to do that the first time around because sometimes there's like a First Amendment issue or a legal issue attached with that. So, yeah, she violated the order. There's no doubt in our minds with that. It's just some people have these unrealistic expectations that call the police. They'll come pick her up. Or this will happen or that will happen. It doesn't always work that way. It doesn't always work that way, everybody. So I just wanted to educate everyone on how the system works or is supposed to work. And it doesn't always work the way we want it to. Right, everybody? She can get off of probation even. It's not always the I get your frustration, Mustang Sally. Protect the abuser, make sure their rights aren't violated. But at the same time, we're not the Gestapo. We're not a communist country where the police can do anything they want. Or the courts can, or we don't have like these courts, or we're not supposed to anyway, where the court can do whatever the fuck they want to do. We have a process, but at the same time, I get your frustration. It looks like protect the abuser, screw the victim. And sometimes it does appear that way. But we have the Constitution or the well-meaning version of it. So abuse doesn't happen. And some people do fall through the cracks. I understand that, but some laws actually now these days help protect the victims too. Because I remember the one time I had to go out and vote for victims' rights laws. Yeah, I get it, Mustang Sally. You're cynical, but yeah, but I understand because sometimes the system fails where a child rapist, let's say for what it is, gets probation and not jail. And different states are different too. Because New York has toughened its sex offender laws. You can get 25 years to life for sex offenses now. You can get a life sentence for it. Well, in some states, it's like, of course, Mustang Sally. It's your if you have a story, it's your story to tell, and it's not any of our. And we have 50 states, and each state has different laws and statutes, and that's why I had to look up Oregon's, because the law in Oregon is tougher than some other states. Because in some states, it's it's a failure. It's a mess. Yeah, look at a Wyoming state. Look at the state of Wyoming. My state has holes in the system. There was okay. I'm going to tell this the one story before I leave, before I end this today or whatever. There was I heard this in jail. So there was one offender. He's a rapist. I'm not going to be politically correct about it. He raped someone, right? Judge gave him a few years. Failure, right? He should have got 15, 20 for it, in my opinion. He got let out. This guy got let out. Okay? So he gets out. He goes, rapes the same person again. Okay? Hey, Lawn Bunny. It depends on the state, Lawn Bunny. And this is what I'm trying to explain now. Some of the failures in some states. So if you're listening and you want to do some changes, the best thing to do is write your state lawmakers. You're welcome, Lawn Bunny. So the second time he does it to the same person, he rapes the same person. This is rare. He does it again. Gets maybe a 10-year sentence, right? He gets one of those lenient judges, who says, okay, he did it again, right? So then he gets out again and does it the third time to the victim. Everybody? Guess what happened the third time? He gets a life sentence. Because he gets the real bad, tough judge who doesn't put up with your crap. And it was sad that it took 3 times to rape somebody to get him a life sentence. This is my state, everybody. So it all depends on the state you're in with a restraining order or an anti-stalking order and how it's enforced. it's the judge, and in some states they're all elected. So before you go to the polls, everybody, to vote for a judge, make sure they're a little tougher on these criminals. And they're fair, but at the same time, fair. Yeah, each state has a different statute and different ways of enforcing it. And unfortunately, in this instance, yeah, California, it's all about the accused, what victims. Yeah. Unfortunately, with the California's bail reform and everything, it got to that point, everybody. So, but Oregon has their laws are better when it comes to my actions in this state are terrible. So unless I commit crime, right? It's like I have to file charges. The only thing I can get is a no contact order or something similar, and the penalty is contempt of court. So, all right, everybody. It's time to go. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way out. So please donate to Noodle. At this point, Lawn Bunny is going to start as a civil. And then if there's enough, and if the judge determines if it's enough, then it'll go on to sanctions, and it would have to be referred to criminal court and the district attorney. And then the criminal process would begin. All right, everyone. Till next time. Bye-bye.